they decided to diversify and develop real estate. When you come from a completely different industry and you try to just jump into construction, it's certainly a pretty steep curve.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Edward Carrick, out of Covington, Louisiana, is the co-owner of Charlie Rick Engineering and the owner of Performance Analysis. He's an Army veteran and a graduate of the University of New Orleans with a degree in engineering. Edward, thanks for taking the time today.
Hey man, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited about it.
Now, when we talk specifically about the immense amount of ground-up construction that we're seeing in Louisiana, I'm licensed in Texas, a lot of ground-up construction in Texas. One of the things that I haven't talked about on this show before is the engineering portion of it that goes into, ground-up construction in general. And so for folks, including myself, who are not familiar with what that entails, walk us through, on a base level, the engineering component of new construction.
Sure thing. It is quite different in residential versus commercial. We're a little heavier in the residential side, but we do both. Um, One thing that I noticed is I did live in Texas for a little while, and I still do some work there with other engineers. I've noticed that 10 years ago, Texas, especially with residential, started getting more strict and requiring more. And I said, "Ooh, man, that's coming. That's coming to Louisiana." Louisiana's always last to adopt in many things, and now it's starting to come. We're seeing it. Like for instance, when you build a house, say a 2,000 square foot house, a lot of times contractors say, "Oh, I'm going to put in a 3-ton air conditioner." Bam, done deal. And that works most of the time. But if you oversize, really bad things can happen. 10 years ago, I saw that Texas was requiring for houses that cooling load calculations be done, and those are pretty extensive, detailed calculations. Now we're starting to see that hit here now as well. So we have to do that. Sometimes we have to do drainage calculations to make sure that whatever's built is not going to impact any upstream
Mm.
waterways and cause other people to flood. Um, we have to do foundation designs, electrical designs, things like that. But it's pretty light duty on residential.
Now, when we talk specifically about foundation, this is something that is super, you can't overstate it, I feel like, because, this can be a huge area of concern on any real estate project. And ground up construction specifically, you never want to be in a position where there's a foundation issue after things have settled. What type of work goes into identifying, not just, hey, this is how we're going to you know, do the foundation, but also too, we have to make sure that the soil is ready for this type of construction.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time that we do any foundation design, we have pretty strict guidelines on the drawings that say it must be compacted to such and such a requirement, X amount of PSI, things like that. Um, we size the foundations, especially if it's slab on grade, concrete on the ground. Um, we size it so that it's gonna hold. If there's weight bearing walls, load bearing walls, we make sure that there's extra footings under there. All those things have to be, taken into account, and it may seem mundane and not so sexy or not so, critical, but, you do a bunch of these and it gets to be kinda run of the mill, but if you don't do it right, obviously a lot of things can go wrong.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And absolutely. And I've seen it happen in, the fix and flip space where you don't see that there is a foundation issue until you start taking, up the subfloor and so forth. But then also I've seen it happen in new construction where, someone does, not maybe their full due diligence. Now you've got a foundation crack running upside the home on your new build. You never want to be in that position. I would like to ask you specifically, we're seeing an influx of people. I can speak certainly for Texas. I imagine it's a similar thing happening in Louisiana from other segments of real estate get into ground up new construction, whether that be from fix and flip or, buy and hold into a new construction and getting themselves into being a developer of sorts. Are you seeing any common errors that people are making when they're going about that transition from one asset class to another?
Are you talking both commercial and residential, either or? I have a
Yeah, construction in general. Yeah.
I have a good commercial, and I won't name any names, but a big company that was, ground up in IT company, global IT company. The owner is, I'll just leave it at that, but they decided to diversify and develop real estate, and they're doing a good job. They're putting a lot of stuff up, but and we work with them. They've had, a few challenges because they're IT people, right? And now they've
Yeah.
formed their own construction company, and, I got involved and I said, "Wow, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun trying to lasso these wild horses and pull it together." I wouldn't say there were errors that I noticed, but there's definitely, like, when you come from a completely different industry and you try to just jump into construction, it's certainly a pretty steep curve, and
Yeah.
we were able to yeah.
I've noticed that as well. I mean, not just from tech into real estate, but also from another segment of real estate into ground up construction. There just seems to be another element that comes with that ground up element that is for a lot of people an unknown, and there is a steep learning curve. I would say there for most folks. I would like to pivot here though, Edward, and ask you specifically about real estate in Louisiana. I'm a little bit of a fish out of water in this space, but I know that there's, of course, a lot of ground up construction happening. Are you also seeing there being, more of a push towards uh, almost an urban sprawl of these cities, that all of these cities tend to be expanding and adding subdivisions around the outer limits of where the current city ends?
Yeah, we're in a really unique situation where we are. We're 30 miles north of New Orleans on the southeast part of Louisiana. Um, New Orleans has its own, let's just say, political and cost issues and swamp issues and things like that. And, there's always been say that, that there's not much more you can do in New Orleans. It's not ideal. So I live across this lake. It's actually a 24-mile bridge that you cross to get from where I live in Covington to New Orleans. And this area has traditionally been like a bed and breakfast, or not bed and breakfast, but like a what do they call it? Like a breakfast. People live here and commute to New Orleans is what I'm trying to
Okay.
say.
Okay.
Uh,
So, yeah.
it's a lot more rural, and it doesn't have the low-lying, floody, marshy areas like New Orleans. So things are starting to come here. Industry, especially along the interstates, is starting to occur. And for the last 20 plus years, they've been popping up subdivisions everywhere to the point that the infrastructure is not able to handle it as well as it could. But I see that continuing on. I think our area, what we call the North Shore or St. Tammany Parish, is probably going to continue to flourish and grow both commercially and residentially for a long, long time. That's what we hope.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Now, for investors who are looking at, that urban sprawl of New Orleans, you mentioned being, 30 minutes outside. Are there any specific obstacles that they might face, whether it be, having to find the right type of tenants, for instance, when you're going further out, there might not be as many options, or even something on the level of, hey, if you're working with contractors in a certain area, they might be, having to send teams from New Orleans. That could be trickier. Are investors dealing with any level of that?
I think the infrastructure on available services and construction firms over here is good. I think that's not going to be a problem. What I do see as things to consider is that St. Tammany, it's the parish that we live in, same thing as a county elsewhere, tends to be very, very, very conservative and not wanting to grow real fast.
Hmm.
So they are a little strict, I think, in some regards as far as permitting and what they require to get things off the ground. Um, I think that's fading away. It has to because we have almost unlimited land here, and the desire to be here seems to be growing. So I think they're working through some of that, trying to keep it at bay with the infrastructure, and kind of keep both all things moving along together.
I would like to ask you about, and I know probably a lot of people are thinking about this when they're thinking about investing in the greater New Orleans area, which is insurance costs, right? And so I've seen in areas like Houston, Texas, for instance, that you might have, the insurance portion of your mortgage may actually be more than just the debt service on the mortgage. Is this an issue that's happening, in the greater New Orleans area as well?
Yeah, I hate to always go back to it, but we always go back to that one point in time, Hurricane Katrina back in 2005, and that was a doozy. We had a big one, pretty big one, not nearly as big, Hurricane Ida back about 4 years ago. And they kind of really shook up the insurance industry. For a while, we lost our insurance on our own house because they just pulled out. They were pulling out, pulling out. And at one point, they used the Interstate 12, which is just 500 yards north of me. They used that as a line of demarcation and said, "We're not going to insure anybody south of I-12." That insurance became more available, and we were able to regain our insurance. I'm going back 10 years ago,
Yeah.
but I think it's probably expensive. I did live, outside of Houston for about 5 years, and it was amazing how much more affordable things were over there because, Houston can expand forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're we're more locked in by waterways and things like that,
Are you
and
seeing
hurricanes.
Are you seeing there being an influx of investors from out of state in Texas or in the neighboring states who are looking at investing in again that urban sprawl of New Orleans, or is it a lot of people who are based in New Orleans investing out there?
From what I can tell, Baton Rouge is about an hour west of us, that's our capital. We have some developers from there and a lot of local developers here in St. Tammany, Covington, Mandeville. Excuse me. There's probably some in New Orleans, but it really is, where I live, North Shore, we call it, St. Tammany. Uh, it's different than New Orleans. It's almost like the New Orleans people stay there and the North Shore people stay here.
Hmm.
Uh, but as far as New Orleans itself, I don't have as much of a pulse on that, but, I'm seeing things go up here and there. I just feel like there's a lot more, and I met with a big developer yesterday, commercial, They all seem to be a little more tentative about New Orleans proper.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, and it could be a number of different reasons, but when we think in general about development, typically, development in the center of the city is going to take more, permitting. That's going to take, a deeper level of trust and rapport with the people in charge in that city versus, developing maybe in an area where there's less going on. For folks who are looking at getting into, let's say, single family ground up construction in Louisiana. Are there any markets that you specifically really like or are bullish on in particular?
So, oddly enough, we do, and we see a lot of activity in the mobile home park space. Not particularly in St. Tammany, where I live, but other counties or other parishes that are surrounding. We actually do a lot of wastewater work there, and we see a lot of investing and a lot of people who are in that space, buying up other people's mobile home parks and things like that. I never would have thought I would have said that, but that seems to be something that's just hot right now. And maybe it's just because it's in my face and on my radar. But there's that. There's As we get farther and farther from where I am, I'm in a subdivision of 200, 300 homes, right near the interstate and a major highway. But as you get 5, 10 miles north of me, there's a lot of big houses going up on big parcels. Um, not in neighborhoods, and I just see that happening. We actually do some work for some developers in that space as well. That seems to be up and coming.
Would that
Along with the
be full of like farm and ranch or not quite that big?
uh, most of them aren't not used for that purpose that I'm seeing. Most of them are used for single family residences, but they are surrounded by farms and ranches. It's kind of the place I want to end up. We just developed, or we're helping a guy develop a 10-acre, fully wooded plot of land for a house that he wants to live in for 5 years and then flip it. So we had to do some drainage studies because there's an intermittent stream going through it. He has to build a driveway over it and different things like that.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about the different type of products that people are doing right now, it does seem to be in places like Louisiana. Um, there's more and more interest in any type of land deals, whether that be farm and ranch or mobile home communities. I've heard RV parks and self storage and so forth. We are actually coming up on time here, though, Edward. Any new projects that you're working on, and then also too, what's the best way for folks to get in contact with you or your team?
We have a couple of websites. My primary company is Performance Analysis, so that's performanceanalysisllc.com. And then with Charlie Rick, there's charlierick.com. Um, both spelled like they sound. As far as the other question was, what other projects, up and coming projects are we looking at? One thing that we're getting into a lot, and we thought it was going to be its own little profit center, its own little product, but we're doing a lot of drone surveying, RTK drones at that, with real time kinematics, which are centimeter level precision. We're using that a lot as tools on our existing projects rather than their own projects. We're getting to do more than we could do without them, and we're getting to be better at it with them. So that's something that I think is probably going to continue to grow, and in support of ongoing engineering and construction projects.
Well, Edward, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.